Good afternoon, everyone. It's noon. Today is December 27th, 2023. We're going to call Warrick County Commissioners meeting to order. Sheriff, can you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. First order of business, we have some introductory statements here. Council, would you like to make yours?
Yeah, I've been asked by the board to make a few introductory comments to help us with our meeting today. And I hope all of this is helpful to refresh our memories on proper etiquette and how to conduct ourselves in an open public meeting of the county commissioners. The commissioners, of course, welcome and seek out everybody's input on matters before the board. That's what they do, and they're happy to do that. But in a public meeting setting, it's also their duty to make sure that the meeting is managed properly and professionally, and to help promote the matters before the board. So just to remind ourselves how to conduct ourselves today, everyone needs to follow rules and be decent and have a decorum worthy of a public meeting. All the residents of the county, you would probably agree, deserve nothing less. At certain times in this meeting agenda that everybody maybe should have, because we have some over on the side, there will be reason to make comments. Other parts of the meeting, they might not need comments, and there might not be any need for comments. In the parts of the meeting where comments are not solicited from the floor, if you think that you just have to be heard on those matters, in that situation, the commissioners may recognize you. They don't have to recognize you, but they may. They want to keep to the agenda and get to the matters that they're particularly interested in hearing your comments about. If they do not recognize you, it means you're not recognized. And if that's the case, just politely, please keep your comments to yourselves. You're welcome to provide those comments to the commissioners individually after the meeting as you see fit. Not being recognized does not give anybody the right to disrupt the meeting. And if you do that, you'll be asked to leave politely. Now, the agenda that you should have, there are some matters needing to be discussed. There shouldn't be anything to discuss today that's not on the agenda. Sometimes that happens, but today that shouldn't be the case. There is a sign-up sheet that maybe some of you have seen. If you think that you might want to speak today on the matters before the board for floor comment, you're welcome to stand up right now and make sure your name's on the list. Heather will be taking that list up here in a moment. We would prefer to have you on the list if you can get your name on the list. That doesn't require you to speak, but at least get you on the list in case you do want to speak. When you come forward, please identify yourself by name. If your name isn't obvious how to spell it, we would appreciate you spelling your name if that would assist us with our minutes. Comments should not be an indefinite length of time. The commissioners don't want to set a rigid time limit, but they do ask that you keep your comments brief and to the point, please. If you abuse the amount of time and just continue to go on and impede the progress of the meeting, you'll be asked to summarize your comments, please, and move forward so that we can make sure everybody gets a chance to speak. So I just wanted to mention glad to have everybody. The commissioner's glad to see you. Everybody's expected to respect each other. And in the conduct of these meetings, the commissioners are in charge. If you don't follow the rules, you'll be asked to leave. but hopefully that won't be necessary. So thank you for honoring all those rules and the decorum of this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Mr. Saylor, I have an introductory statement. Do you have anything before I read mine?
No, sir.
So in our last meeting, we had a little discombobulation. There has been a little bit of social media chirping going on. And in the last meeting, I'll admit I was a little flustered. I actually had a statement to read, but I got flustered and didn't read the statement because I forgot, basically. So I'm going to lead off the meeting by reading that statement with regard to the changes to our health department and our 2024 plan. July 1st of 2023, the state passed State Enrolled Act number 4 and House Enrolled Act number 1001. Those are now Indiana state law. These new legislative actions by the state of Indiana were passed because the state recognized deficiencies at both the state and the county levels. In some areas, the state ranked 45 out of 50 states, and the stated goal of these acts is simple: to ensure that every Hoosier has access to the core public health services that allow them to achieve their optimal health and well-being. These legislative actions provide funding, guidance, and key performance indicators, thus allowing counties to improve core services. Much like the state, Warrick County recognizes a need for overall improvement, especially as related to the new legislation. Through the study of the new legislation, the counties realized that there are many services not being provided. There's also a need in shift from culture and transitioning from an enforcement department to an educational and services strategy. As we always do, beginning now and into 2024, we wish to build upon the foundation of the new legislation and help improve the health services of Warrick County with a goal parallel to the state's, to ensure every Warrick County resident has access to the core public health services that allow them to achieve their optimal health and well-being. So that is the statement that I was going to read last meeting and got sidetracked and was not able to read. So to make that transparent, we were accused a little bit on social media of not being transparent. So that is our overarching goal for all that's going on in the health department. And with that, our first order of business is the approval of minutes from our December 11th, 2023 regular session.
I will make a motion to approve those December 11th, 2023 minutes.
First and a second, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 2-0. And the next order of business is 2024 appointments. Commissioner Johnson is not here today. He had something that he could not miss. So there are some of these that we are going to address and some that we are not. Dan, I suppose we will just kind of bounce back and forth here. Commissioner officers, you want to table that one or move on that one?
Well, I would like to, since Bob's not here, I would really like to go ahead and do that. I make a motion for you to be president. But if you don't feel comfortable seconding your motion, we can table it.
Yeah, let's table that. I don't want to second myself.
Okay. All right. So we'll
skip those.
We'll skip it.
County attorney.
I make a motion for the firm of Fine and Hatfield as legal counsel.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 2-0. No particular strategy here. In my notes, I just have everything that's kind of a single appointment, not multiple appointments. So that's what I have as a veteran service officer.
Well, I'm good with reappointing Dwayne.
So that's a motion.
Yeah, I make a motion.
Second that.
Sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 2-0. Next single appointment is our Chief Information Officer.
Make a motion to reappoint Guy Whelan.
Second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 2-0.
Skip highway.
Yeah. What's going on there? Next single appointment's Economic Development Director.
Make a motion to reappoint Steve Raleigh.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
My motion carries 2-0. Next one is Health Board.
I make a motion to reappoint Tony O'Neill.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 2-0.
Any action on the health officer this meeting?
Just table that with all the rest of them.
Yeah, I'm do a motion to table. I'll do a motion to table to the January 8th meeting.
Second that. Motion carries 2-0.
Do you wish to be recognized during nomination?
I do wish to be at least to briefly comment on the reappointment of Tony O'Neill.
Can we get finished with the rest of our appointments and then we'll give you a minute to speak?
Certainly.
Okay, what's next?
On my notes, I've got Pigeon Township Sewer District, unless you have anything different.
No, is that Mike? Is that Mike Masner reappoint? I make a motion to reappoint Mike Masner.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
My motion carries 2-0. Next one that I have written down is Southwest Indiana Regional Development Authority.
I make a motion to reappoint Evan Beck.
Second that. All in favor?
Aye.
My motion carries 2-0. Then that's the next one I have. So you want to just wait until Bob gets back?
Yeah, we'll wait till Bob gets back. So I make a motion to table the rest of the appointments till our January 8th meeting when Commissioner Johnson is available. We have a full board.
Second that. All in favor?
Aye.
My motion carries 2-0.
And Mr. President, if you wish to recognize Ms. Edwards on comments regarding nominations, you may, if you wish to.
Ms. Edwards.
Yes, I was just debating.
If you could come
Certainly.
and state your name.
Absolutely. April Edwards, and I'm an attorney for the Board of Health here in Warrick County. My issue with respect to Mr. O'Neill, and I don't know him personally, and I don't have anything good or bad to say, and certainly with respect to Mr. O'Neill, is that when you originally appointed him, you did not have that on your agenda. It was just added at the meeting to appoint him, and now you're reappointing him. As I read the statute, the county council also has the right to appoint board members, as well as the mayor of the city of Boonville. From looking at reviewing the information, it appears that the commissioners last year appointed 3 people to the Board of Health. If the concept is that we're now going to bring the Board of Health and its members into compliance with the code section that was passed last July, rather than wait for the members to term out, and I would respectfully submit that I think that the members are supposed to term out and then they get replaced as they go along as there's vacancies. But I know that there's some dispute as to how that is supposed to be approached. It would be my thought that before just appointing somebody to the health board, that there be some sort of discussion between the county council and the mayor of Boonville, as well as the Board of Health, who has some input on this, to try to reach a consensus and make sure that the board members are going to be in compliance with the new law, and that everybody has an appropriate opportunity to weigh in at the appropriate time. That's my main concern, is that we follow the law. And I think that there needs to be some more effort on the parts of the various governmental entities and pieces of the puzzle to have some discussions some timely discussions about in what order that happens. So from my perspective, I think that we need to have the county council and their attorney weigh in on the timing and their recommendations, as well as the mayor of Boonville and his attorney, as well as the health board's attorney, so that we can ensure that everybody knows what terms the current board members are to serve, when they were appointed, who they were appointed by, so that there can be an orderly effort to move forward and comply with the statute. So that was my thoughts on the issue and request.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll speak for myself here. I've had conversations with the county council and the mayor, so I feel like that I've covered that base. I don't know what discussions others have had, so.
Certainly in response to Ms. Edwards, the council, mayor are not going to be excluded at all. And discussions are very appropriate. And I can assure Ms. Edwards that the law is being followed, and we'll continue to have discussions with all applicable folks and the mayor and the council as appropriate. And that's certainly the commissioner's intentions.
Thank you.
Okay, our next order of business is the county administrator.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today I have the consent agenda. It's a rather long one, so bear with me just a moment. We have the county auditor certified claims voucher report date of 12/22/2023, payroll voucher dated 12/15/2023, the treasurer's monthly report from November of 2023, the approval to repair the downspouts on the southeast side of the old courthouse building for the amount of $1,816, approval for the labor to install the Superior One kitchen area at a cost of $1,040, approval for labor to install trim and the brick wall entrance and base of the grants office after the brick wall work was complete for a total of $1,040, approval of commercial cleaning services for the deep cleaning of the grants office for $150, approval of desks, office chairs, and shelves needed at animal control for the amount of $3,619.35. Amendment to ordinance 2023-27. The True Scripts contract for 2024. The Maritime Employee Benefit Plan for 2023 and 2024. There were signatures missed apparently in 2023. Amendment number 11, Employee Benefit Plan, High Deductible Health Plan, increase of deductible. Amendment number 12, Employee Benefit Plan, Point of Service Plan, appointment of authorized representative. And that is the entire consent agenda.
I may mention before you conclude, Heather, that just for purposes of explanation, the amendment to ordinance 2023-27, which amended chapter 131 of the ordinances, that is simply a technical correction of the reference to the correct fund. And the attorneys didn't get that labeled correctly. And instead of the Warrick County Animal Control Fund, we've been informed by the auditor's office that the correct term is a Warrick County General Fund Animal Control Revenue Line. So that is the only change to that ordinance.
Perfect. Thank you.
Let me ask.
Yeah, I don't know.
Heather, on I, amendment of 11, employee benefit, increase of deductible, are we increasing our deductible?
There's a federal mandate to be considered a high deductible health plan that we, by law, we have to increase to match. I don't have those numbers in front of me. I apologize. I could ask Shatika to come.
I was actually confusing that with the premium, but the deductible. Now I understand what she's saying.
In order to be considered a high deductible health plan, the federal government mandates that level, and we have to match that level. And that's all we're doing is increasing to that match.
That's from what to what?
You don't let- she don't
I
know.
don't have that with me. I
So is
apologize.
that kind of, what are they tying that into inflationary numbers or? Just-
That would be a better question for Shatika.
You would have been notified what that increase had to be, correct? It wasn't
Absolutely,
anything the
yeah.
county is
These were items that Shatika had presented for your review, but it's been some time ago, and we just want to make sure that we shored this up and got it on a consent agenda.
I believe all plans have the higher deductible
I was just
beginning
curious, I didn't
January
know.
1.
I don't remember seeing an amount.
Shatika's here.
Yeah.
If you want to recognize her. You want to recognize her? The commissioners were just wondering about the deductible increase.
Okay,
If you
for
know.
the record, Shatika Bard, and I'm the HR manager for Warrick County Government. So the reason for the increase is the federal government and IRS have increased the amount that individuals can actually deposit into an HSA account.
Oh, the deposit. Okay,
Mhm.
I thought it was gonna be the deductible was gonna be increased
But
to the
it
employee.
it does because
Oh.
it works hand in hand. So
Okay.
since they allowed for individuals to deposit more
Mhm.
into the HSA, then they also have increased the deductible. And so this is not just for our county, it's across the United States.
So what's the deductible?
So for a single plan, it's $1,600 for 2024, which it used to be $1,500.
Okay.
And then for a family plan, it is $3,200 where it used to be $3,000. So the family plan goes up $200, and then the single plan is only $100.
That answers my questions. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Take a whole bunch of claims to get that mixed out again.
Nope.
Okay, thank you for the question. Is that all, Heather?
That's all for the consent agenda, yes.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I will second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 2-0.
And the only other item I have is the county auditor's uncertified claims voucher report date of 12/22/2023.
Have a chance to have copies of those.
I gave those to Dan before.
Right here. So Heather, the contract services of $75 that are paid to our clinic for $150. I mean, is that, our auditor didn't certify this. Is that something that, can we pay? I don't understand how that works.
I'm not
It's
familiar
not
with
part of
it.
our contract.
Are you talking about for employees for our clinic or?
Well, it was, I guess, an employee, or not an employee, a contractor was sent there, and Wilson Clinic charged $75 for 2 visits.
I'm not familiar.
It's not, I don't think they should have been seen, or I don't think this bill should have been presented as to be paid by
By the county.
the county. So, but also, Wilson Clinic is a partner that provides a lot of good services to our employees per contract, and I don't want to penalize them.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that
What
one.
about that one?
Again, so here's another one for Purdue. I don't quite understand this one. Is this just a reimbursement of funds? It says non-certified, but so we're paying for this. They're asking it to be paid for, but is Purdue reimbursing us for these expenses?
I can't
Are
speak to
we
them.
reimbursing Purdue? We're reimbursing Purdue for these expenses.
Correct. So then that claim, it looks to me like it's reimbursing the account that our local Purdue Extension office holds because of those checks that are on it.
Our auditor obviously has questions on these, so.
I can answer if you want me to.
Please.
Stacy Franz, Purdue Extension Office. What is your question, sir?
what are these,
How much is the bill? I don't know which one it would be.
Well, there's 3 of them.
So,
Careful there, Stacy, that leans.
okay. So the first one is agronomy classroom subs. That's Amanda. She has to be recertified to maintain her license to do the job that she does. And $110 went out of the dues fund. RICO maintenance, that's for our copier. The office supplies is $139.99. That's reimbursement to our office for the radon detector that we purchased.
So how are those? I don't understand. So the radon detector, I don't know why that was purchased when we got thousands of dollars worth of radon detectors.
That was before you guys did that, though.
I mean, is that?
Do we normally reimburse?
I can,
I've never,
I
Yes,
can
we
answer,
normally do,
yes.
yes.
never seen these
Carla
before.
Kidwell, Purdue Extension. I've been a CD for 15 years and this is status quo. This is, especially if it's a bill that needs to be paid within the next week, we pay it and then submit it to auditor for reimbursement.
Okay.
And the radon detector, I'm not really that concerned with. We can pay for that out of a account we have at
Okay.
Purdue. We've been received permission to do that.
Well, they just come to us as uncertified, so that's why we're questioning. So
We
I
were
just-
told that the auditor's office was supposed to uncertify anything that had anything to do with our office.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure where they're getting that direction.
Why would that be? Why would the auditor be directed that our claims should be uncertified?
We don't direct the
Don't believe
auditor.
that's true.
Yeah, we don't direct the auditor.
Here
They.
comes somebody from the
Oh.
auditor's office.
Barbara Shelton, Chief Deputy Auditor. The reason it was uncertified, we can't uncertify a certain part of the claim. Since it's one claim, we did not certify the radon detector part
Got
of it.
Okay, that's it.
So
Okay.
you're saying you're not uncertifying all of our claims?
No,
I would certainly hope not.
no,
Okay, okay.
not at all.
Does that
So
answer your
so
question?
for the record, yes, please, thank you. So for the record, that is not accurate. The auditor's office is not wholesale and certifying your claims.
I would
So,
hope not.
counsel, what do we need to do with this one? The reason I threw it over to Dan is I'm generally speaking okay with this claim, but if we've got a part of it that's uncertified, can we just approve?
You can approve it. The auditor has to follow their rules and they can't do it. But if you wish to approve a portion of that claim and not approve another portion, you may by motion.
And then you said you've already got approval to pay for that other piece of
Yeah, not
another.
concerned. We're not concerned about the radon detector.
Okay. So that's fine. So so do we do this individually then?
Don't have to.
Don't have to.
You can approve that entire claim or that entire claim exclusive of blank.
So I'm not for sure what the amount is. Do you know what the amount
I
is?
think it's 139 is the,
Oh, okay.
$139.99.
The office supply, okay. So that's
Yes.
the detector, okay. So I make a motion to approve the uncertified claims, less the $139.99.
Can you tell me why that would not be approved if that amount is in our budget from the auditor? We're allotted a certain amount in that line item to spend as office supplies. Why that would not be approved?
She just said it was,
it's probably
Already
not
been
considered
approved out of
office
another-
supplies.
Yeah, it's not really office
It's
supplies.
probably not considered office supplies, yeah.
Yeah, that's not office supplies.
Yeah. We're okay on it. We'll be fine.
okay. And also I'll second your motion.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
My motion carries 2-0. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Okay. So there's that one.
That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. President.
Hang on here. So we still have these two. These are definitely questionable. This one, council, I don't even know if you want to look at that. I don't know that we can pay for health services for contractors. Can we? What is it?
It's a contractor. I'm not gonna say employee, a contractor went into Wilson Clinic and Wilson Clinic sent us a bill for $75. I don't think we have an agreement to for Wilson Clinic for non-employees.
Seems unlikely. You could not approve it today and table if it needs to be looked into to make sure that you have the ability to do it. We could between now and the next meeting.
Okay. I mean, again, I don't want to, I make a motion to table so we can research this more to our January 8th meeting.
That's the claim in the amount of $150.
$50.
Vendor number 18196. I'll second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 2-0. And then. on
I mean,
this
Heather,
one-
we just need to look into that more to see how that got.
Okay with all of that. Minus that. If that's so, if you're so inclined.
So what do we, how do we refer to this? The vendor number 18196. So do you know what this number is less this?
Mhm.
Heather, on this claim,
Mhm.
I would approve everything but the 835 of other services to be paid.
Okay.
Basically, the office supplies and the postage.
Yeah.
Minus the other services for 835. So that's your motion?
Yep.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
My motion carries 2-0. Thank you. Okay. That's all, Heather.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Next order of business is Sherry, our acquisitions administrator. She has some bids for us to open.
Sherry Severs, Warrick County Acquisitions Administrator. Pursuant to Indiana Code 5227, Warrick County Commissioners have solicited proposals for corrugated metal pipe, pre-engineered box culverts, bridge packages, bridge rehabilitation, erosion control products, and engineer services to assist in design and sizing for maintenance and repair of county roads, for the bridges, county roads and bridges for Warrick County Highway Department for the year of 2024. This was advertised in local paper on December 14th, 2023, and December 21st, 2023. Those who were invited to bid was CivilCon, 605 North Shore Drive, Jeffersonville, Indiana, Core and Main, 900 North Baker Road, Boonville, Indiana, Utility Pipe and Sales, 11802 North Green River Road, Evansville, Indiana. We only received one bid from CivilCon.
Really?
Yes. So we received that actually today, time stamped at 10:51 a.m. And it was delivered by their employee, Jeff Phillips. And in there, it breaks down several different gauges. It's quite lengthy, like 16 gauge, 14 gauge, 12 inch through 48 inch pipe, 16, 14, 12, 10. So it's a lengthy breakdown. And one thing too that CivilCon provides, I think that the other companies maybe do not. If we buy a bridge package from them, it does include engineering service at little to no cost to the county as well.
Steve, are you surprised that we only received one bid back? Is that maybe because of the timing of this?
Well, if you look at all the items that are listed, A through I, the two that did not bid, Core and Main utility pipes, do not supply some of these services such as pre-bid and precast. They do supply corrugated metal pipe. They do supply HDPE pipe and other such products. They just don't supply the entire discipline in this bid package. And we have bought on the open market before from the local companies. This particular civil con engineering, pre-engineered bridges, we've bid them out in the past before, but I think the idea of having an annual bid would allow us to save time and utilize their services for engineering and buying these pre-manufactured bridge products as needed. I think, and the attorney can correct me, I think we still can buy on the open market and not be tied in exclusively
That was my
on
concern.
all these
that-
products,
that was-
because manufacturers precast box culverts, concrete box culverts, we've got local bidders that bid on that too in this region or this area. I don't want to have to tie our hands down to buying certain products, but this helps us buy some other certain products without having to go out and go through a bidding process.
I guess that was my concern, that, if we needed a 36-inch piece of pipe, that we didn't have to go to Jeffersonville to get it. We could just go down here to.
That's
pick
my
it up.
interpretation, and I defer to the attorney for any legal comments accordingly.
This doesn't lock us in to just, if we need a piece of pipe, the guys can go get a piece of pipe, right?
It sounds like it.
Yeah,
But this also stabilizes the price for the next year, right?
in essence, it's also a safety net for the county,
Okay.
which locks us into prices. If we go through what we went through in 2021 and see a great increase, we're locked in with this particular bid package.
And for the record, my name is Stephen Sherwood, representing Bobby Howard, who could not be at the meeting today.
Thank you, Sherry.
Steve, do we want to take this under advisement and so you guys can look at it?
I would prefer that Bobby have an official review of it before
Okay.
we do accept it.
For the responsiveness and
Approve it pending or?
So
you take it under advisement with Sherry and report back to you.
can I make a motion to take this bid under advisement, and so Sherry can share it with Bobby and Steve, and then get back with us on the results of what their thoughts are.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
All right.
Aye, motion carries
Thank
2-0.
thank you, Sherry.
Thanks.
Thank you, commissioners, and thank you, Todd.
All right, next order of business is our county attorney.
Thank you, Mr. President. First item is the interlocal agreement that involves the Amex Fields. They're on Outer Lincoln, I think, isn't it? And
Yes, sir.
Anderson.
Mhm.
I apologize, but the process, as you know, has already started in negotiations with the town of Newburgh, who's interested to transfer ownership of the Amex Fields to the Warrick County Department of Parks and Recreation, similar to the ways that other properties in the county are owned by the department. It's a long history there with Amex Fields in the town of Newburgh, but a lot of folks don't know, but that area there where the Amex Fields are has actually been annexed and is part of the town of Newburgh, which is a bit odd. But the proposal that has already been approved by both the Warrick County Department of Parks and Recreation and the Newburgh Parks Department, and also by the Newburgh Town Council, is that we draft an interlocal agreement to be entered into by all the parties and adding to it, because we don't want to leave Steve out of all this fun, the Economic Development Council, and for the transfer of those fields to the County Department of Parks. We'll do an interlocal agreement, and we'll bring that back to you for approval. We're just in the drafting stage. Once that's approved, then I just wanted to explain that the town of Newburgh will then begin a process of disannexation of that property. There is actually such a thing, I'm told. They'll disannex the property, which would then allow the Parks Board and the Department of Parks to enter into similar resolutions to transfer the title of the parks to them by gift from the Newburgh Parks Department There are existing maintenance agreements with the soccer and football parent groups out there. So those are already in place. I think we want to talk to them about possibly moving forward with some improvements and structural improvements out there that might be a good thing for them beginning next year or thereafter. So that's the process, and all the other folks have approved that process going forward. I just asked for your motion to approve moving forward with the interlocal.
We've talked with Steve Raleigh with this, and so that's real familiar with this, and I think it'll be a great addition to our Parks Department and probably help Newburgh out in the same time. So I make a motion to move that process forward and support this.
Second Dan's motion. All in favor?
Aye.
My motion carries 2-0.
Thank you, Mr. President. The only other item on my agenda is the Board of Commissioners wishes to consider the removal and appointment of health board members. You know, I'll make the introductory comment that there are disagreements between me and Ms. Edwards as far as the statutory process, and I understand there's disagreements, but I've advised you that you have the statutory authority to help Heather if she needs it.
Trying, sorry.
But nonetheless, Indiana Code 16-20-2-8, you are the appointing authority of the board. It allows you the authority to remove board members. You indicated your wish to consider that. So I'm just going to explain to you what you merely need to do. If you wish to remove any members of the health board, you just by motion do that, and then it would require a second. After having done that, if commissioners, if you wish to make any comment about the motion, you may. You don't have to. After that, you may entertain comments from the floor. Ms. Edwards, I'm not done yet.
I certainly understand that.
So-
I'm just standing.
Well, why don't you sit down, please, in respect to me as I introduce the motion.
I will be happy to do
Thank
that
you.
if that's your preference.
And I assume that means you're first. So by motion, you may move to remove those individuals as appointing authority. And if there's a second, then you can proceed with comments.
Okay.
And if you have no comments, then we'll then turn to the floor and recognize those folks that want to make comment.
Well, I think since what has transpired here, and I think we need some new direction, so I'm willing to make a motion, Mr. President, to remove the following members of Jeff Mock, Joy Brown, and Kenneth Parker from the Warrick County Board of Health for failure to perform statutory duties under the Indiana Code 16-20-2-8. So that's a motion that I make.
I agree with the legislation. There is need for change in both the guidance, the leadership, and the culture. And so for that reason, I second your motion. All in favor?
Oh, wait a second. Just a second.
Okay.
Do you have any comments you wish to add to the motion in a second?
I was brief with my comments. Again, my comments are directed to the new legislation, the things that have gone on recently, not only with animal control, but with the lack of performance in the health department. The state's made us clear that they want things changed. They've given us the guidance to do so. The commissioners have consulted with peers in counties, with subject matter experts, with legislators who were key in passing the legislation. I don't think we could have any better counsel than the people that we have consulted with. And this is a change for the better and a motion in a different direction.
There's a motion and a second. And unless Mr. Saylor has anything to add, you can entertain comments from the floor now. Ms. Edwards.
I have no further comments.
Thank you. And I was interested by Mr. Saylor's comments when he said that he is moving to remove Dr. Jeff Mock, Dr. Ken Parker, and Joy Brown for failure to perform their statutory duties of office. As I know Mr. Glass is aware, and I'm sure as he has informed the commissioners, that IC 1620-2-8 only allows you to remove a board member on 3 different ways. One is they have to be absent from 3 consecutive regular board meetings, or they have to be absent from 4 regular board meetings during a calendar year, or they fail to perform their statutory duties of office. And I would be very interested to learn what Mr. Saylor believes, what statutory duties of office that he believes that Jeff Mock, Dr. Parker, and Joy Brown have failed to discharge. Mr. Saylor?
There's no question and answer. If you wish to continue with your comments, feel free to, and if any response needs to be made, we'll make them.
Well, I think that if we're going to talk about transparency, and that's what the commissioners are saying, they're telling the public here, the citizens of Warrick County, that they want transparency. And when the commissioners say things like, we've talked to the state, we've talked to the various peer groups. I also have reached out and talked to Indiana State Department of Health's legal department. I've talked to various members of the public. I've talked to peers as well. And when it comes to, there's a false narrative that the commissioners, you as commissioners, are putting out to the public that, let's start with it, somehow the health boards in the health department's not doing well in the state of Indiana. Perhaps you aren't aware of the statistics regarding our health department here. We were first in the state for vaccinations under age 3. I've got here today Regina Hudson. She's signed in to speak as well. She can give you the exact statistics, but we are also the 5th and 11th in other categories in the state. Our health department in this county has done a fabulous job. And when we talk about animal control, when the commissioners removed them from the auspices of the health department under the veil of secrecy, I will add, because this wasn't something, we didn't have public readings of changing this to the public. We didn't give the public a chance to weigh in on this. You as commissioners didn't even have a public reading. And at the meeting you had, which the public can watch, these are videotaped. You can see that it was not only wasn't read, it wasn't announced, it wasn't distributed when that was done, but the animal control was not in disarray. It was actually running as a well-oiled machine, and it was happy, it was clean, it was doing well. When it was in disarray was when Danielle Barnes was the one that was the lead animal control officer out there. The same Danielle Barnes that has been charged and arrested in this county, and now is being pursued in Perry County now that it's been transferred there. And I think you'll be seeing more things come out. This is the same Danielle Barnes that you as commissioners recognized for her outstanding efforts in your own public meeting last December of 2022. And the public can look that up. You as commissioners were extremely angry when we came to you and told you about our concerns of Ms. Barnes, the things that we felt that were being done that were illegal. We came to you, Dr. Yeager spoke with you, and you were particularly you, Commissioner Phillippe, were extremely angry because you were 1,000% behind Danielle Barnes. Dr. Mock, who's here, can verify that in the meeting that he had with you guys. You guys were angry. You were 100% in her corner, and you confuse the state obligations of what we are required to do in the state and under not just our state ordinances, but our local ordinances, the purpose of animal control. And with the means and objectives of a shelter. Those are 2 different things. And just most recently, ever since you've taken over, you've shut down the animal control, told the animal control officers to lock it up, don't answer the phones, only respond if
Ms.
it's
Edwards, please mind your factual allegations.
These
and
are all
be wary
true.
of
That
them.
is not true.
Why don't we get back to the motion that's in before the commissioners? And if you have any further comments to make, if you could try to conclude them.
Ms.
I
Hebner is,
would only like to add that this has all been done, your allegations under the guidance of your team.
I don't know what you're talking about. If you're talking,
Realize
because
that you don't.
Well, let's
when
just
you
stick,
say
Ms.
my
Edwards,
team, what is that?
let's just
Who is
stick to
that?
her comments and see if she can wrap them up.
But with all due respect, Mr. Glass, I can't respond to something when he says your team. What team is he talking about? He also, the commissioners have also come forward and said that there's been a dramatic increase in euthanasia by Warrick County Animal Control ever since Ms. Barnes left. That is simply false. I have the documentation for the media here today. So the media can see exactly how many animals have been euthanized since the first of the year, or since September 1st. And you can see it was done for medical reasons under the auspices of a veterinarian. So, the first illegal actions you guys took was in removing Mr. France. You did not have the legal authority or factual basis to remove him as health
That's your
designated.
interpretation.
You also then announce on the news that you're appointing an interim health department administrator when you don't have the authority to do so.
That's your interpretation only.
No, the statute clearly
We
says.
disagree. You and I disagree.
No, the statute doesn't say give your clients any authority to do
Well, then
that.
you can argue that in the court of law. This is a Board of Commissioners meeting. The motion before the commissioners is on the removal of the board members. If you would kindly conclude your comments, if you wish to conclude.
Well, I will add that we have already appointed our own interim health designee, and I have that for the media as well. When you talk about removing them, Dr. Mock and Dr. Parker and Joy Brown, these people have gone above and beyond the call of duty in discharging their duties. It is telling to me that Mr. Saylor, who is the one that's moving to remove these people, refuses to publicly state how they have failed to discharge their statutory duties.
That's by my advice, and they will have all that communicated to them following this meeting in a private communication.
Well, if you're going to do it in a public meeting, then you should state the reasons on the record
That's your opinion. It is not required of them.
Well, back to, are we going to have transparency or are we
We're
not?
fully transparent, Ms. Edwards. Just because you don't like the process, I'm sorry.
No, you aren't transparent. You throw things out there. You don't give your a reason to do so. You don't state the reasons on the record. That's not fair to the citizens of this county. They deserve more than that.
I don't think your board wants the dirty laundry aired, is what I don't think.
There's no dirty laundry to air, except for perhaps yours, Mr. Commissioner. Let's talk about your appointment. You removed a board member who hadn't even turned out to put your girlfriend in place.
Yeah,
Yes.
Ms. Edwards, why don't you stick with the motion before the commissioners and
Would the rest of
conclude
you
your
like to hear
comment?
some transparency? Because I've got it for you. I also have the email from the commissioners where they told our department not to contact the state police, not to cooperate with the authorities.
Ms. Edwards, your comment time is over. Thank you very much.
I'm sure you would like.
Thank you very much.
But I'm happy to talk to anybody that has anything. I'm happy to talk to the media. I've got the documents for you.
Thank you. Don't.
I'm saying something. There's a lot of misrepresentation.
Yes,
That's
there
what I'm
is.
going to say.
Okay, Dr. Yeager.
I will answer anything anybody wants, on the record or off. And I will give you the documents to back up every word I say.
Ms. Edwards, would you pull the microphone down for Dr. Yeager if he needs to?
Certainly.
I think that, or set it
Can I
down.
set it down? I mean,
It's wireless, I guess. Thank you.
and for purpose of the record, this is Dr. Rick Yeager, Health Officer for Warrick County.
Hi, I'm Rick Yeager, Yeager.
Thank you.
Miss Edwards has stolen a lot of my thunder. And it's really, I want to say that, first of all, I think that the commissioners are an honest, good men. But we have run amok in the past several months. Now, I know that this is, we have run amok, and I think this is why they're choosing to remove board members that have, most of which have been board long before the commissioners ever touched the commissioner gate. The people the commissioners are wanting to remove, Dr. Mock, who has served our community for decades, Dr. Parker, who is also a physician who has altruistically served our community, and so has Dr. Mock, has built a tremendous business. Dr. Parker advises financially. And Joy has been an honest, steadfast anchor for our community as long as I've known her. I think these people are far more capable of serving as health board members than these gentlemen are as serving commissioners. And I think that I know of no, until the last month or two, in fact, in all of our meetings, I know of no accusations that the commissioners have made against our staff. I had presented something altogether different, and so forgive me for my meandering. I have known of no problems. Commissioners have not have presented against our board until recently. And the commissioners have made 3 demands, perhaps 4, of our staff that we have not complied with. 1, you have asked us to fire 3 people. One of them is Mr. France, which you took the audacity to fire illegally, we feel. And we have had no reason to fire him, but you've generated reasons in the last, okay. But anyway, that was the one thing that you've held against our board. The second thing is that we did not fire our staff because they, and this is a critical thing. This is very critical. You criticized, or you wanted our staff fired because they did not bend the rules. Yes. Don't, please, I'm sorry. My answer is yes, because they did not bend the rules. And I can have evidence that you've asked them. I have circumstantial, I have testimony, I have circumstantial evidence that supports it. And that is my argument that one of the reasons you want to get rid of these commissioners or these board members is because they have not bowed to your rules. The third thing that you've held against our staff is that we hired Ms. Edwards as an attorney. And as you can tell, even today, we need an attorney. None of these reasons justify these worthy men and women of being separated from their positions. And I stand behind them 100% after working with them for decades. And based on my experience of almost 25 years, more or less, as a health officer who's never had a minstrel until you all were discontent with us because of the reasons we just suggested and because of the radon issue. which none of us can help, not you, not me, not anybody. Okay, now then, I would also like to address your decision to hire someone else, but that's a different issue, and I'll have another opportunity to do that. Correct, sir?
I don't know if this meeting or not, but at some point in time, certainly.
Well, then I have been instructed by Commissioner Felipe to give a report for our health department to the commissioners.
That would be at another meeting.
No, it would be in this health, it would be in the board meetings. Well, all right. It is a board meeting. And I think that I would be very glad. If you have announced over the news last night that today you're going to present a new member for the health department. And I would like to express to you right now that as the health officer, if you send someone else into my department to do a job I have already assigned someone else to, I will discharge them as soon as they hit the door. I have that authority, and I will do it. Thank you.
And there's others on the list. Anybody that wants to come up after Dr. Yeager?
Candace is our new health designee under the appointment. Dr. Mock, would you like to address this issue?
Ms. Yeager, you're not master of ceremonies here today. You recognized, and she's able to come up on her own. Thank you.
My name is Candace Hubner, and to be honest, I have no idea who I work for. I just know that I'm a county employee. I'm going to do my best to speak eloquently. However, humanly. In the last month, my life, personally and professionally, has been turned upside down due to the position I hold as technically an administrative assistant for the county. I have done my very best to protect the community that I so very much love and want to see thrive. For the last year, I've worked diligently to put policies and procedures in place, follow the letter of the law, and fulfill my duty, which is public health and safety and its many facets of the health department, including retail food establishment inspections, vital records, animal control, pool inspections, and representing the county in court. It pains me to know that the individuals given the county commissioner's guidance aren't educated in the law themselves. I say that because the amendment to the ordinance passed at the last meeting specifically violates the law, and the fact that not only was it not read publicly, it includes payment of fees and fines to a fund, which requires 2 public readings, notification in the newspaper, neither of which happened. And just for reference, today, the fund that was mentioned for funds to go into as part of the amendment doesn't exist. So your legal counsel is advising you on information that is not valid.
Can we go back to the removal of the board members, Ms. Hubner?
I politely ask for my opportunity to speak without interruption.
The motion
You
before the
are
board.
not needing to dictate my conversation.
The commissioners have the right to
You're not the
limit
commissioner,
comments.
so let me speak.
I'm speaking
have-
on behalf of the commissioners. They gave me authority to make sure that the decorum of the meeting was followed. There's a motion before the board. Please limit your conversations to the motion. That's all we're asking. And if you can't, you'll have to sit down.
As I've said, your legal counsel does not understand the letter of the law. Indiana Code 1620-2 does give the opportunity to remove health board members. It also dictates exactly how a vacancy is to be filled. The local board of health shall provide the appointing authority a list of 5 individuals from whom you must choose. Mr. O'Neill was not on a list because the list has not been provided. The Board of Health has not even met.
You want to keep reading the statute, Ms. Huebner? You want to read where it says they may select from the list, but they don't have to. You want to go to your next
It also goes
comment?
to 1620-2-13, conflict of interest. I'm not here to argue with you, Mr.
I don't know.
Glass.
I'm just trying to keep your comments to the motion is all.
My comments are that if you are going to sit up here and make decisions, we absolutely need transparency. Speaking as an individual that has been involved and pulled both ways to a level that is absolutely uncomfortable. I have concerns for my personal safety due to the recent situations. I have concerns for the safety of my staff. I specifically asked in front of Indiana State Police for a press release regarding the actions that have transpired and how we are going to effectively move forward, which is yet to have occurred. I have asked for the comments on the euthanasia to be redacted because no documentation was ever requested to confirm what actually has been going on. And I also have those in front of me today. So I just ask that before any additional changes, amendments, appointments, removals happen, you respectfully consider a second legal opinion from someone who might be able to interpret the law a little differently, or at least operate in a manner that is respectful to the community that so much deserves that. In the meantime, I would like to publicly ask, since I've asked privately several times, who do I report to? What is my job? What is my job title? When will ordinance 2023-27 regarding animal control actually be disseminated to the employees of animal control?
Commissioners will get with you shortly on all your questions and that you're asking for. They're doing their best. I'm sure that's what they would say.
So I should continue to maintain closure of my doors, no phones, not respond to calls, ignore as much as possible, don't take animals in, or should I go back to the health department and do duties over there?
Candace, I'm going to address that one specific thing. I don't know if you're doing this intentionally, but we've had heart-to-heart conversations, and I hope that you know that we were trying to get you girls some time off at Christmas to spend with your families. We wanted to limit the inflow to animal control because you were down 5 people.
I have worked
That's all we're trying to do is get
constantly
you guys some
since
Christmas
the
time.
beginning of August without a single day off, 7 days a week. Did anyone come in to feed or water those animals to give me relief? No. Did anyone answer my call when I said I have a vicious animal that needs to be put down for the health and safety of myself, my staff, and the public? No. Animal control doesn't just stop for the holidays. And it might be in a perfect world, an opportunity to shut a door or turn a phone call off. I report to the Department of Health. And when there's a problem, it is going to come back on me. And I've said that privately and no one has taken light. So now I'm going to say it publicly. I am not turning my phone off. I am not locking that door. I will respond to these calls. I will take in animals and I will find resources to humanely euthanize dangerous, sick, and injured animals. Because that is my job and my responsibility. And I wish others can understand the importance of that and how that can affect our community. Animal control is bigger than just spay and neutering and rabies vaccines. There's so much more here. And public health and safety is the #1 priority, which is part of the governor's public health initiative and remains under the control of the health department as dictated by the state of Indiana. So I appreciate the comment of relief for the holidays. However, there's no follow through. And I'm talking publicly because I have nothing to hide. I don't need to have a private conversation. I don't need anyone speaking for me, whether it be a higher up, legal counsel, etc. I have in email documentation from the commissioners and their legal counsel saying not to provide information to the Indiana State Police and federal agencies.
That is not true.
It is
not
absolutely true.
It is not true.
On multiple occasions. And you are not going
I'm
to
sorry,
threaten
but that's
me
not-
or my job.
No one's threatening anybody, Ms. Huebner.
You absolutely are.
Anything else on the motion before the commissioners? Or are we
I
finished?
adamantly disagree with the removal or appointment of any new individuals, and it does not follow Indiana state law.
Thank you for your opinion.
Candace.
Okay.
We got other.
I have April
You've had your
Edwards.
chance.
I have one brief thing to say.
You've had your chance.
I have one brief thing to say, sir.
No, thank you.
We will not
No, thank
be
you.
recognizing your removal of Dr. Mock, Dr. Parker, or Joy Brown from the health board. You will have to take us to court and get a court order to remove those good people because you have not provided any valid statutory basis at all for doing it. A conclusory statement by Mr. Saylor that has no facts is not a basis to remove our board members, and we will not recognize it or accept it. So that
Thank you,
you will have to take us to court on
Ms.
that.
Edwards. There's other people wanting to speak. If you sit
And
down,
Candace
please.
Huebner is our new health deputy. We have the signed documents.
There's a couple others still on the list if you wish to speak.
My name is Jeff Mock. And I guess for a few more minutes, I'm going to still be the president of the Board of Health. It's been a privilege to serve. It certainly hasn't been for the recognition. Mock's been on the Board of Health since its conception. I have not knowingly shunned any responsibility as a board member. If I have dirty laundry, I don't know about it. Maybe I need to know about it. I think your act of wanting to relieve the board members is solely because we won't be your puppets. And if that's the reason, gentlemen, you're wasting time appointing new people. Just run it yourself. But if you want to do that, Do it legally. Follow the statutes. And the interpretation, get 5 more attorneys, you'll probably get 5 more interpretations. But I can read. Thank you for allowing me the time.
And is there anyone else? You got it. What? No, come, just, if you would just come up and state your name for the record.
Hi, my name is Don Lanier. I'm a citizen of Warrick County, and speaking just on the outsider looking in, as a citizen that would love to have transparency with their government, is due to the questions that I've seen and the way the responses from the committee here, is very clear that you guys don't want transparency. It's very clear that you guys are a good old boy network. And it very much appears that you guys are just trying to stack your cards in your favor due to the lawsuits coming forward with you guys, and you're not being transparent at all. Citizens are tired of their government shutting the people down. You guys work for the people, not the other way around. And you guys are very clear that you just kind of stack your cards in your favor and not looking out what's the best for its citizens. And Mr. Glass, I don't even know what to say about you. Your attitude, your unprofessionalism, your intimidation tactics, and here trying to control and intimidate everybody that's coming in here is completely unprofessional, and you should be removed.
Yeah, we agree.
Mr. Lanier, how do you spell your last name?
L-A-N-I-E-R.
I-E-R. Thank you.
Stacy Franz, citizen, wife, mother. My question to you both is, my husband has been a friend to you guys for years. Years. He advocated for you both. He would talk to people about you, vote for them. They're great guys. They're doing a lot. And then what changed? Nothing. He did nothing. He was employed here for 29 years, selflessly getting called all the time, going out on animal control, people calling about food not being right, people, just various things. Then you fired him on December 12th, but your letter was wrong. It said December 13th. So actually he wasn't fired until December 13th. That was an error, because I'm a secretary and I read that stuff. But I do not understand. And I would like for you to tell me why, Terry, why, Dan, why you did that. The things that you wrote on the letter that he did not do, that he did not address. Dr. Yeager, Dr. Mock, and Aaron sat in you in multiple meetings and went over those things and explained those things. And you just cited those as that. I'm not eloquent in talking, but my heart is there. Because I think, first of all, you guys need to know Jesus Christ as your Savior, because you guys are going down a bad path. You need to know hope and the hope of the Savior. And I may look like a lunatic 55-year-old woman, and I don't care, because Jesus loves you. And we pray for you guys. We pray for you guys. Aaron prays for you guys. We've set aside time because you've been on our hearts, and yet you still persecute him, persecute our family. Merry Christmas, Gracie Franz. Your dad's fired. You know she would go to your offices and talk to you guys. You would give her candy. You have to realize that we are real life people, that we're not just some statistic. You went in his office and you would talk to him and communicate. And I do not understand why the things that were brought up and that were answered for and they were fine, and that was how it's supposed to be. You listed those as being his offenses for being fired. He's never been written up in 29 years of giving his life to this community. He loves these people. And there's already people that have different views on things, but he does his job. He follows the law. He follows the law. And you guys have told him, no, don't follow that. Don't listen to that. Terry, don't shake your head and say that's not true. You know it's true. Look at my heart. Look at my heart. I am his wife. I'm the mother of the kids. And we've given a lot of our lives to you guys, a lot of our lives to this county to make sure for the betterment of it. Shame on you for making it come out that he was the reason that Danielle got written up. You fired him for the health, for the animal control going down. That's the reason that came out in the public. You know that's not true. You knew that state police was there before then. State police was there before then. Don't act like you don't know. You know everything else. Why do you not know that? Anyway, I suppose I'm not going to get an answer as to why you chose to hurt us and to fire a man that is upstanding, that upholds the law. Yes, he has his faults. We all do. We're all human. He has many, but he has upheld the law of this county. He has upheld the citizens of this community. He has backed you guys time and time again. He has stood for you. He stood in the gap when nobody would. And now that it's your turn to uphold him and to lift him up and to do the right thing, you don't. You sit there. But I will still pray for you guys.
If there aren't any other comments, you can conclude, make
Anyone
any
else?
final comment. Just the fact that you make your final comment doesn't reopen the floor for additional comments. So it's up to you two. If you want, you can make a final comment, take action on the motion, either approving or denying it. As I instructed the commissioners, they're able to do a variety of things.
So there could be so much more to say here. I don't even know where to begin.
Then start.
The
We're waiting on you.
thing that
We're right
people,
here.
the thing that people see is what's being presented here today or what's on social media. There's so much more that people see. It's just, we could be here for 3 weeks talking about things.
We haven't heard what factors to why.
Pardon me?
We haven't heard what factors to why.
Well, we can make a publication if the public would like. We can make a publication of all the things that we've considered to take the actions that we can do.
If they exist, we're here. The public is here.
We're ready for dirty laundry.
There's nothing. Go ahead.
I would love
Pages.
to.
You write a book.
My wife's here.
I don't have time to read a novel today. But there's a novel of information that we are acting upon. We also we've sought the counsel of other attorneys. We know we're making the right decisions. And as I always say, we're making the right decisions for the right reasons. I'm perfectly fine with people disagreeing with us. That's all I have to say.
I just hope they remember it at election time.
Um,
Two of you.
That's why we waited till after the election to do all that.
Please don't blurt out, please.
Okay.
Anything else?
As a matter of business, where we have a
A motion and a
motion on the
second on the
table.
floor.
With a second. Call for a vote. Or all in favor, I'm sorry.
I'm in favor.
Okay, I'm in favor. That motion carries 2-0.
The only other thing on the agenda then, Mr. President, having so voted, you may now entertain a motion to appoint replacements of 1, 2, or 3 of those board members, despite other people's comments and opinions. The statute allows the appointing authority you to do that. You may ask the health board for recommendations and nominations, but you don't have to appoint from that list. So you don't have to appoint from that list, which the executive of the county has the authority to make the appointments. So if you wish, you may move with a second to replace any of those board members.
We've reached out to a few. One's Dr. Paul Perry, very highly regarded medical doctor, willing to serve. And then the other, Leanne Holder. I think, Terry, you know more about her.
A respected nurse in Warrick County.
So I make a motion to appoint those two to the Warrick County Board of Health effective January 1, 2024.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
My motion carries 2-0.
I have nothing further, Mr. President.
If that's all I have to say, Commissioner.
I've done. Make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.